something very interesting that has been happening in an industry that is not typically looked at as a focus for learning about sales. Yet what we find is that in some of the more mature industries in the world, you can see how their processes are set up to really push the limit as to what innovation can be done in the way of the sales process, their marketing methodology. And what I find interesting is that one of those largest industries in the world is, in fact, the gaming industry. When I'm not doing anything related to sales, my entertainment of choice is video games. And what I find fascinating is there's so much ways that you see that video games need to be sold and launched. And there's a lot of companies who are doing it the old way. And there's a couple companies that right now are doing it in a way that is just emerging and is showing high levels of success. Let me explain. Back in the early 2010s, there seemed to have been a movement where these companies that were very, very large in the gaming industry were sending out video games that were almost incomplete by the time that they would go out. There was a lot of pressures from executives and bringing value to shareholders that made it so that if you actually pushed an incomplete product, you would still have people buying it, and it would be at the cost of the brand, but that wouldn't show in direct numbers. In fact, they would be able to show how they're making massive sales volume without necessarily having to complete the game. And this was actually quite interesting because they would use the feedback from the users the moment they started the game to do the updates and prioritize what was most important to them. So it was almost of a methodology of co-creation. Now, this trend had some great insights to start. The intention being if we can make a co-created game and then the users actually give us more feedback, more bug reports, then we can accelerate the development and the QA or quality assurance testing process. Well, if you were doing this with the best of intention and you were doing it to provide a superior product and having a sense of co-creation in its place, yeah, it has its benefit. But the reality was just greed. It was actually being much more greedy and being able to ship games and pushing deadlines and not listening to your product developers. And there's a lot of the Western gaming companies that are now getting a lot of negative feedback, and they're getting slammed by fans who are just tired of seeing incomplete products being shipped just for the sake of greed. See, what you couldn't measure was what is the cost of doing this on the brand's value. They were milking the brand to a point where they were actually killing the brand. And people started to revolt. People got really, really angry. And what we've started to notice is certain gaming studios have really started to shift their focus, and we've seen this happen more in Eastern studios, so primarily some of the Japanese gaming studios. And I will reveal my geeky side, being a fan of Final Fantasy. And this Japanese company, Square Enix, was actually in the same path, releasing incomplete games and trying to push those costs onto the customers, making us pay for some of their previous release. And they did something interesting with one of their upcoming releases. They simply said, "We are sorry, we know we messed up. And what we're going to do now is make it up to you and create something that'll be complete from day one. We do not want to abuse your trust. We want to build one of the best games working with the best people, and we honor you as players, and we're going to bring life to this brand and do things the right way." And this act of humility and acknowledgement and not trying to brush away some of the methods that they had used in the past already got people's interest, and skepticism was still there. But at least there was an opening for trust. And lo and behold, as the launch of this upcoming game was coming closer and closer, they started doing things right. They involved the creators into the process, some people that are influential on the internet, and got them as partners to promote the product. They were able to deliver a sample of the product that released a few days ago. And guess what? They designed such an amazing sample that got people interested in the full product that now the sales have been coming in. There was also another thing that was quite interesting from this studio, is they decided that they would not focus on the sales on the first week of release, but instead focus on the sales for the next year and a half, knowing that if you build a quality product that will bring referrals and people will recommend it to their friends and really focus on that product being excellent, then you'll know that you'll have long-term sales and sustainability and actually brand building as opposed to milking and using the brand negatively. Now, in the last episode we did last week, we spoke about how having a good product gets you to the starting line. And this is going to become more and more apparent as all of those tricks, gimmicks, and methods that accelerate you making the sales process more efficient. And hey, with the birth of AI accelerated into every industry, including sales and marketing, it's not what's going to give you the edge anymore. Everyone is going to be at that level. And so what you really want to focus on is realizing that you need to have an amazing product. We can't be going out there shipping incomplete products or trying to get people to build the product for you. I've seen so many launch methodology which had its roots in the past. I've seen it being so you don't build the product and you launch it to users and ask them what they want and have them actually give you the feedback on how to build the product. But people are getting tired, people are getting fed up, and they want to be able to do business with people that have shown a track record of doing great, consistently delivering, and have the experience. And so what can we do as business owners? Well, find ways that you can build on that experience. Find ways to deliver amazing finished products. And guess what? We have to start being comfortable with taking risks again. See, there's a big shift, and there's a lot of marketing that went into educating entrepreneurs on how to do risk-free product development. Like, why go and develop a full product without even knowing if people want it or not? Well, we should be able to get enough research and contact enough people and do enough individual work to be able to know that what we're going to create will serve a greater need. We can do market research not at the expense of our clients, but for the benefit of our clients, and take a risk of building something great, putting it in front of them, and really putting the effort back there. So the big message I want to give for you today is just looking at these more mature industries and see what trends are going on. Like, even in the movie industry, people being tired of sequels and people just milking the brands to just generate more revenue. And we've been starving for original, great pieces of work. The gaming industry, another mature industry that you'll see that as people are focusing on just delivering great product, that's the foundation that we need to not forget. And when we're going out there and building what we need to build, don't let go of that foundation. And know that you chose the path of entrepreneurship. If you are an entrepreneur, risk will exist. You'll have to take chances and do your darn best to make sure that you're delivering something of quality. And yes, there might be mistakes you make along the way, but if you communicate with integrity and you're honest with people, you'll see that people will be forgiving when you have the best of intentions. And if your intentions are selling with love, then you're already on the right path. I'll see you next time.